later on. President Bola Tinubu has also directed the opening of Nigeria's land and air borders with the Republic of Niger and the lifting of other sanctions against the country with immediate effect. In a statement by Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, this directive is in compliance with the decisions of ECOWAS, Authority of Heads of State and Government, at its extraordinary summit held last month in Abuja, where the leaders agreed to lift economic sanctions against the Republic of Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Guinea. The president also directed that the closure of land and air borders between Nigeria and Niger Republic, as well as ECOWAS no-fly zone on all commercial flights to and from Niger Republic, be lifted immediately. President Tinubu also directed that the suspension of all commercial and financial transactions between Nigeria and Niger be lifted immediately. TVC News spoke with publisher Inside Watch Africa, Oluwaseyi Adeyemo, on the World Now earlier today, and he emphasized the need to encourage trade between Nigeria and border countries, which will help to improve the country's economy.
The best way to deal with this situation, yes, nobody supporting coup d'etat or military incursion, by any means in any country in Africa. But we could deal with this in a better way by ensuring that we open up economic opportunities for ourselves with our immediate neighbors, and ensuring that we're able to leverage on security, cooperation with our neighbors. We trade amongst ourselves informally, and all of those people who live at these other towns and areas are people who have done business amongst themselves, for several years. These are very historical and mutually beneficial relationship that has been affected for a while since this sanction has been placed. So I know they're very, very excited about it. I know that this will definitely benefit them.
Global Affairs analyst Paul Ejime joins me live from Dakar in Senegal. But it's no doubt huge relief for many Nigerians who live, along the border areas, who have since complained about the harsh economic implication of shutting the borders with Niger. But what do you think is the impact on the regional level? Is this enough to have the three member countries return to the regional bloc?
So I think it's a great relief for everybody. Even the three countries that say they are now Sahel states, and then they are giving notice that they are quitting. But they will also have to reference the treaty setting up ECOWAS, which requires them to, any country wanting to leave, to give at least one year notice. If after that, the passage of that time, they are not able to address the issue that gave rise to that, then they can leave. There is a precedent with Mauritania that gave notice in 1999 and then left in 2000. So back to your question, the sanctions will really bite. These are countries that you can't really, particularly for the border communities. These are two, and that was why, if you remember, when ECOWAS talked about going to intervene militarily, that many people, particularly the 7 states that share border with Niger, they were not in support because they were saying, well, it's like brothers going to fight their brothers. But if you also look into it, know the kind of informal trade that goes on, itinerant traders moving from one place to the other, these are the same people. And that was the essence of the integration, that, of course, artificial borders are there, drawn by the colonial masters. But these are the same people. They speak the same language, and so there shouldn't be any. Let them try to de-emphasize what is dividing them, but play up those things that bring them together. I think that is what is happening. ECOWAS is walking back on those, the hard line that they took. But that is not to encourage military takeover. And also to make sure that politicians do not carry out civilian, constitutional, or electoral, coups. Because those are the things that
Mr.
are
Ejime,
giving rise to military coup.
With the benefit of hindsight, how strategic would you say ECOWAS's response has been? Recall that at some point, the regional bloc, activated standby forces if the sanctions failed. But it seems to have now reversed itself and then opening up its borders.
Well, if you recall, the chairman of the authority of ECOWAS of state and government, and then Nigerian President Bola Tinubu, he after the initial what one would call precipitate and knee-jerk reaction about the coup, the last one in Niger, where everybody was saying, go there, go and fight them, and then restore constitutional order. It was unpopular, and then it would have been catastrophic, because it will mean imagine a NATO country going to fight another NATO country. It was unprecedented, and so they weighed it, and then they are now walking back. But by also lifting these sanctions, they are throwing back the ball to the court of these three countries that say they want to leave. Because, let's face it, they cannot change their geographical location. They are the same people. ECOWAS has some a lot of things going for it in terms of gains for them, for their citizens. Free movement, and then the movement of people, and then trade, and also benefits from the fact that when usually there are positions for any of these countries that they cannot on their own muster it, but when ECOWAS takes their position, like if there is any position at the UN that is to be occupied by, they can send candidates, but it strengthens their hand when it's ECOWAS that is making their case, and so on and so forth. So there are benefits. ECOWAS also will suffer some, damages if it allows its members, because it defeats the essence of integration. Okay. If 15 out of 15, you are losing 3. It's not a good testimony. But at the same time, like I'm saying, the two sides will now come to the table and then cut their losses, reassess what they have, maybe some missteps, and then come back to. There is still time for them to do that. So whether it's the strategy there is for that, ECOWAS is saying, listen, you were saying that the sanctions were hurting the people of the community. We have lifted them. Now, what would be the ground for you to now want to leave? I think that is how they...
Apparently, we'll get to see how these 3 member states react in the coming days. Global Affairs analyst Paul Ejime, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.